Welcome to part 2 of our Service Bus Management and Monitoring Reporting series. In this video, we will consider a real-world problem. How can we tell if a producer of messages has ceased sending messages and is possibly unhealthy? Health polling may detect some issues. Logging and related systems may detect other issues. What if the system is otherwise functioning and responding and appears healthy, but perhaps due to a code change, a network issue, an intervening firewall issue, or any number of other issues, messages are simply not being received at the expected service bus? Traditional health monitoring may be none the wiser. This is where Service Bus Management shines and can shine a light on your critical integrations. SBM provides the ability to configure reports. These are run every 15 minutes, and at each run, we'll scan your configured service bus queues and topics to detect the count of messages which meet your rules at this point in time. So you can capture point-in-time snapshots of the content of your service bus resources. Once created, you can then go one step further and create health reports. These are special reports which use the results of your configured reports. A health report can use the results of any number of other reports to derive health. Health reports are used to categorize the health of a given queue or topic, and each service bus resource can have its own dedicated health rule. To begin, let's create a report which is designed to detect the count of messages we are receiving on a given service bus queue from the order processor system. For this example, let's assert that the sender sets a custom property on each message called sending system, and the system we wish to inspect is order processor. Further, we will express that we only want to count messages which have been enqueued in the most recent 15 minutes. This gives us a liveness check and ensures we don't arrive at an incorrect conclusion based on possibly old and stale messages. In our introduction video, we demonstrated creating reports, so here is our pre-created report which meets this new definition. Order processor, count of messages in last 15 minutes. Let's edit the report to see the definition. This report reads, find any message present on the queue or topic where the message has a custom property called sending system with a value of order processor. Also, only count messages which were enqueued within the last 15 minutes. This is a special date-time comparator which allows you to compare date times in relation to now. In this context, now is the time at which the reporting process runs. SBM provides complete logical expressivity, replete with logical brackets and conjunctions, enabling you to construct expressions only limited by your requirements. We have our report configured. This will run every 15 minutes. It will record the count of messages present on a given service bus resource which meet this requirement at the time of scanning. Let's now make use of this new knowledge in a health report. This business would like to configure a green health rule. This should express that if there were no more than 500 new messages present from the order processor at any report run in the most recent 5 runs, then the resource should be considered green. Even if the most recent run was red or earlier runs were amber, provided at least one is green, then we will retain the green health. Again, we covered creating health reports in our previous video. For brevity, I will run through our pre-created health rules on this service bus resource. Here is our green rule. It uses the count we derived from our earlier report and checks at each run that it is lower than or equal to 500. The Lookback rules express that only one of the most recent 5 report runs needs to match in order for this rule to be considered a match. For the amber rule, business wish to only consider the most recent report results. And only consider the queue to be amber if there are from 501 to 2,999 messages on the queue in the last 15 minutes from the order processor system. Here is the amber rule. The Lookback rules expressing to only consider the most recent one result, and the desired range. For the red alert, again, business wish to only consider the most recent report results, and only consider the queue to be red if there are 3,000 or more messages on the queue in the last 15 minutes from the order processor system. Here is the red rule. The Lookback rules expressing to only consider the most recent one result, and the desired range. There appears to be a gap in our logic. The green rule can match if any of the most recent 5 periods match, but the amber and red rules match only the most recent run. So it is possible for the amber or red alert to match the most recent run, and the green rule also still matches as one of the most recent 5 was a match. This is where priority comes into play. As you add rules, the new rule is given priority 1 and the other rules are shuffled down. All rules are evaluated at each 15-minute run. So if more than one color is a match, the solution will consider the rule with priority closest to 1 as the winner. So in this case, as the red rule is priority 2, if it is a match, then the service bus resource will receive a red alert traffic light icon on the main menu. If the amber rule matched, as its priority is closer to 1 than the green rule, then the color shown would be amber. You can drag and drop these rows to reorder to represent your preferred rule ordering. Let's leave as it is for now. What about if we detect no messages at all in all of the most recent 5 runs? It may well be that the consuming systems have drained the queues at every report run, but business want this investigated and covered off to be sure. We want to define a new health rule and set this as a purple alert. This may be a good or a bad status. It means that at all report run times, we detected no messages from the sending system. By exposing this to support, we empower the team to quickly investigate whether the sending system is indeed not sending messages, or whether messages are being blocked, or whether they are being received but are being processed quickly by consuming systems. And here is the purple rule. Set to priority 1. The Lookback rules define that this will only be considered a match if all 5 of the most recent 5 runs detected 0 new messages from the order processor system. Let's wait for 5 runs to complete, and in this time, we will send no messages to this queue from the order processor system. Welcome back, and you can see our queue is the special color. There are no messages on this queue at the moment with a custom property of sending system and value order processing. This matches our special purple rule and would be a trigger for our support team to investigate whether there is an issue with the sending system, with the network, or whether messages are being received by consumers as expected. In this video, we have considered a common business issue and configured both a report and a set of health rules. We have observed our rules at work, and we can see at a glance the health of our service bus resource. Join us in the next video in this series, which will present the inverse of this problem. Learn how SBM can help detect issues with consuming systems.